Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent, and hopefully you caught my content warning. Researching this, I got some icky vibes myself, and although fantasy, and we're talking about long dead divine beings, it still wasn't the most fun to think about. So here is the last warning. Watch at your own discretion. Today I'm going to be talking about the elder evil Atropus, and its weird spawns known as Atropals. Atropus is known as the world-born dead. It is a planet-sized head of a creature long dead that drifts through realm space. Atropus erases all life with its terrible touch. Piecing together various creation myths in the Forgotten Realms, Atropus' story becomes as clear as we, as mere mortals, can really understand. Nobody truly knows, and the best guess we have is that there was once a greater being that is referenced historically as the Prime Mover. The identity changes a lot depending on which fantasy race is discussing this myth, but fantasy world historians are pretty sure it is all the same being. The Prime Mover is a being that predates the gods and actually facilitates the deities to come into existence. The idea is that life cannot be created without death. The Prime Mover destroyed themselves, allowing their body to nurture and create the deities which pulled their life and magic from the positive energy plane. The discarded body of this Prime Mover, its positive energy pulled away by the growing deities, became filled with the negative energy from the negative energy plane. And maybe this was done out of a cosmic balancing act between the positive energy deities. A scale was tipped, allowing this negative energy to fill the Prime Mover. The only thing left of this creature was its head, which took the form of a large planetoid. It became Atropus, the world-born dead. This new undead nature of Atropus changed it. Atropus now lost its original purpose and had a new goal: the destruction of all things, to unmake all living things and absorb their souls. Violent and terrible, a negative energy undead giant head that orbits planets, devouring all life. I mean, how would you take on an entire planet? As Atropus gets closer to a planet, life is drained from said planet. Once close enough to be caught in the planet's gravity well, Atropus descends closer and closer. The dreadful energy Atropus spreads becomes too much, and the dead will rise up from their graves on the planet. These creations are ready to serve the world-born dead. They kill and spread death all across the planet. These undead might knowingly understand what they are doing, or perhaps it's all instinct. Atropus himself is impossible to truly understand. Being an elder evil, a far realm creature most likely, Atropus is self-aware, but not in the way mortals can really comprehend. It is believed his mind is stuck in a single moment, the creation of the gods. Lamenting this decision and lacking the power it once had, Atropus is attempting to undo the original sacrifice. An infinite and terrible mind loop, caught in a constant death, Atropus can never really escape. Now, for the Forgotten Realms, specifically, Atropus was created somehow when Lord Ao created the first gods. This is a bit odd, but Faerunian scholars believe that Atropus was the last god Ao created, but the godling did not survive. Somehow infused with negative energy, we got the world-born dead. Atropus is currently in realm space, always has been, and orbits Glyph, the gray planet. Now, Glyph is this sixth planet in the realm space solar system, and Atropus was originally drawn to this planet by the Mind Flayers. The Mind Flayers inhabited the planet originally. Since Atropus' visitation, Glyph is now an empty husk of a planet. The concept of Atropus is that it is both a place and a being, perhaps like Ego the Living Planet. It looks like a small star in the night sky, but as it gets closer, Atropus appears as a small moon, but that's no moon. It is a planetoid, and you could potentially walk around on it. The surface of Atropus is pitted and slick with black slime and amniotic fluid. It mostly looks like a chunk of black stone, but from certain angles appears as a giant head with black, glassy, soulless eyes. It cannot be reasoned with, and is more of a destructive force than a villain to fight or understand. Galactus, but without the ability to barter and compromise, such as a young Norrin Rad had once accomplished. The surface is not barren. Undead creatures roam around, summoned or conjured from somewhere. Now, on a smaller scale, there are creatures known as Atropals, and these are thought to be parts of Atropus that have broken off and become their own creature. They resemble a large, half-formed, humanoid, bloated body with wrinkled skin, tiny hands and underdeveloped legs. These creatures fly magically and have made their way into a few popular adventures. They are sometimes described as unfinished immortals, who had enough of a divine spark to become undead abominations. Like Atropus, they spread death and destructions. Now, spoilers here for the D&D 5e adventure Tomb of Annihilation, specifically the ending of the tomb itself, so don't listen if you're going to be playing in that game or already are playing in that game. The death curse in that game is caused by a Serac, but the Lich uses an Atropal to cause it. He found an Atropal that was drifting endlessly through the negative energy plane, and a Serac took it. He brought it to Chult and the Tomb of the Nine Gods to begin a magical experiment. Attempting to nourish this being, he created the Soulmonger, which took the souls of creatures who died on the prime material plane and fed them into the Atropal. Now, Aserac's goal was believed to nurture the god to godhood, and once grown, it would walk Toril and destroy all life, leaving nothing but an undead world for Aserac to rule. Now, the final fight in that adventure is against Aserac and his Atropal that is connected to the Soulmonger. It's a super epic conclusion, and one that was featured in the Acquisitions Incorporated game with Chris Perkins as the Dungeon Master. The umbilical cord of these creatures seems to trail off into nothing, but it is in fact connected to the negative energy plane. Well, in the case of Aserac's Atropal, it was severed and connected to the Soulmonger. Now, these cords are very strong and require a Vorpal-bladed weapon to sever it. If severed, the Atropal is weakened, as it is disconnected from the negative energy plane, or, in this case, the Soulmonger. Now, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, everyone. It's kind of a weird topic, but I hope it illustrates the darker side D&D can hold, and I like the idea of an omen in the sky coming to destroy the planet. Maybe your whole game could be Armageddon. You've got to fly to Atropus, land safely, fought off waves of undead to place a Lantan gnomish magical bomb that will destroy Atropus. Or, at the very least, push it out of the way, maybe transport it to the negative energy plane where it can't harm anyone. Thank you, patrons, and thank you, subscribers. I will be back next week with more D&D lore.